How to use Crunchbase to research your investors and make contact as effectively and efficiently as possible. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the basics of Crunchbase. I see a lot of founders make mistakes in terms of how they approach using tools like this. And there are a lot of pro tips or even hacks that you can start to employ. If you stick around to the end of this video, not only am I going to give you a walkthrough on how the first approach should look like for you, but also what you're trying to accomplish to make that contact that you need. As I've said all the time, you're only 8 degrees away. Remember that game, 8 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? You're only 8 degrees away, 8 contacts removed from the perfect investor for you. You just have to learn how to navigate the system because it can be pretty complex all the time. Before we continue, my name is Ed Kang, 7-time funded founder with 2 exits. Just means I failed a bunch of times, and I use this YouTube channel to help you as a startup founder navigate these challenges and hopefully achieve success much faster, avoiding the catastrophic challenges and the issues that I've faced in the past as well. I'm here to help you. I am also working with several accelerators, investors, and different types of groups to generally make the startup ecosystem a much better place, more effective place, and I look forward to helping you. Thanks very much for checking out. If you're here, do the regular YouTube social media thing, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Always appreciate the interactions that we have here. Without further ado, let's jump right in and let me show you what we're working with. All right, so here's my Crunchbase, and I'm just using the basic Crunchbase membership. And basically, I think it's like $29 a month, or, the lowest entry one. This is what you can use just to get started. Obviously, you can pay for the more expensive tiers, and later on and for future videos, I'll be walking through the more expensive stuff. But in the meantime, you can use this just to get your feet wet, understand your sea legs under you, if you will, as you navigate these choppy waters of trying to find investors. So I'm looking at Crunchbase right now, and you want to go and you want to click into companies right here. And here we are. So as you can look over the top, you've got search companies, and you can search companies, contacts, investors, funding rounds, okay, and acquisitions, etc. So a lot of dimensions that you can start to search and hone down. Your goal is to get to the contact. You want to get to the contact that's going to get you to the investor, or you want to get you to the contact who is the investor, which is a little bit more difficult, but prioritizing a warm introduction is where you eventually want to end up in this game of finding the investor that's right for you. But first, let's figure out how we'd approach it from the vector of companies. If you look down on the left side, there are all these filters here, and these filters are going to be your best friend. Use them because if you look at all the companies, okay, 2 million plus results of companies in the Crunchbase database, and not all the contacts are going to be worth your while. So you want to narrow them down using filters. So you can start to look at keywords, all right? And you may have a keyword like, crypto, okay? Or let's just make it a little more interesting and just go straight into Bitcoin. So now you're going to go into all these companies that have to do with Bitcoin in some form or another, right? Now, I'm just going to, erase this, and I'm just going to say, let's say that you've got a SaaS company and you're into databases, okay? Database company, and here you go, right? So now you want to look at headquartered, you don't really worry much about that. That's if you want to reach out, contact, industry, all this stuff. And you've already put in database here, but, might as well, what did I put in? Database and, I don't know, software, okay, SaaS companies or something like that. So here I have SaaS companies. I've clicked there. Oops, SaaS. I'm just going to put in software SaaS. All right, fantastic. Okay, here we go. And then companies similar to Lyft. Look at all these things that you can do, right? You can found in the past 30 days, 90 days, etc. I'm just going to leave it completely open. Active hiring, not interested. Participate in an event, no. Diversity spotlight, no. Okay, contacts. Now, this is the hack. Yes, I want to make sure that I've got contacts in here like so. And then I'm going to continue down in the signals. This is even further refinement. Leadership hire, layoffs reported. No, not interested. But then if you go into financial signals, okay, the financials, I want to go last funding date. And I want to go, okay, you know what? I want funding in the past year. I don't want anything longer than that. All right. So then the type of funding. Now, this is very important right here, the type of funding you want it to match your funding that you're looking for. If you are looking for seed funding, there's no point in researching companies that have got Series A funding. So I'm going to say seed funding, right? And notice how my list is getting smaller and smaller, and the last funding amount, etc. Okay. Now, as I've seen it narrowed down into 3, I'm going to go, all right, let's take a look. And here's the full description, last funding type, and the last funding date here. So Nomad Data, December 15, 2022. And I got put the contacts in there, right? So I'm looking at it and I'm going to say, all right, Nomad Data. And I hold it over. Total funding amount, $4.8 million in the United States, etc. Okay, so I'm going to just click through here. Now check it out. They've only got 1 contact. I don't care as much as a company. I want to get to the contact, and I also want to see the investors. Let's look at the contact first. The contact is the CEO, Brad Schneider. All right, so CEO contact, and I'm thinking in my mind, okay, that contact's typically going to be busy, et cetera, but that's okay. I'm going to go investors and check out the investors here. Most active investors, Bloomberg data, lead investor funding round. All right, seed, look at all these seeds, etc. And partners. So I got Alumni Ventures invested, and does not give me all the information, but let's just check out number of investors and how it worked. And they raised $4.8 million. I can definitely check all that out. Okay, 10-1-10 Ventures. All right, so I'm clicking here. I can learn all about these investors. If I want to do this properly, I want to get their contact here. Remember, we had the chief executive officer. I want Brad Schneider. I want to buddy up with Brad Schneider, and I want Brad Schneider to introduce me to their investor. That's really what it comes down to. If Brad Schneider's going to say, hey, I think that Ed Kang is a founder that you should be looking at, investors love that. They're going to pay attention more. I don't have to go through all the cold calling, etc. And so that's how direct that I'm going to go. So how do I know how to get a hold of Brad Schneider? Well, I could just cold call this guy, but I'm not going to, because I need to make sure that if I'm going to fire that bullet, I need it to hit the center of the target. I need to get a bullseye and not waste my time. I got Brad Schneider here. I'm going to cut and paste his name with Nomad Data. Here's my LinkedIn. I'm going to put Brad Schneider, Nomad Data. Okay, and there he is, Brad Schneider, Nomad Data. And I've got no mutual contacts whatsoever. This one's going to be difficult. So how would I approach this? Well, I'm going to click on Brad Schneider's link. Sorry, Brad, if somehow you know that we're watching this, we're just using it as an example. This is not a solicitation or me encouraging anybody to go and spam your LinkedIn. But I'm going to check out all the activity. So I'm looking at the LinkedIn profile, and I'm going to say, all right, Brad Schneider posted this 1 week ago, newsletter. Here's all his background, etc. Now you're looking for the activity, right? Activity, here are the posts, and you say show all posts. All right, is your business document heavy, data purchases, all this stuff? This is more of a sales pitch, so I'm going to kind of ignore that. Launch the weekly newsletter. Okay, any other data industry folks, either in London or big data based here, okay, tracking all data vendors, so you got customers. All right, so he posted this article, and let's see here. Posted this article. So this is a bit of thought leadership here. I'm looking for something that I can use to make an instant connection with him. Okay, capturing and sharing knowledge, company use. Okay, think of your data. All right, so here's a good article, right? Spreadsheets, key for employees, quickly know, et cetera, et cetera. Now, how do I know if I want to approach? Well, I need to somehow make a relationship with him that's more than just spammy and more than about, hey, can you do this for me, et cetera. Because remember, I told you, he's the CEO, so it's not going to be easy. Think about all the people that want his time. Now, remember, I'm doing this completely from scratch here. I didn't know I was going to come across Brad Schneider in this situation, but I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to connect with Brad Schneider. I'm going to message him, and I'm going to say, all right, more in a message, send profile message, or I'm going to hit connect. He's open to connection. When I click connect, I'm going to add a message, add a note. Now, remember, you need to capture their attention in the first sentence because of the way that it appears in notifications, all that stuff. You've seen LinkedIn notifications. If you type in a long message and you start off with, hello, hope this email or this message finds you well. I was born in a small town and da-da-da. Do you like the weather? And I think the, Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do really well this year, et cetera. not doing yourself any favors. So you want to just put in a comment, loved your article about databases and saw that you were blah, 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 blah. Right away, you want to get their attention and you want to hit them right up, and you just want to make contact and you want to reach out. You don't want to do anything else. You don't want to give them a reason not to make contact with you. You want to say, all right, we can relate, and I've got full opinions on this, but I just want to tell you that I think you're great and you're a worthwhile connection for me. Stroke their ego a little bit and wait for them to accept your friend request. For some reason, I'm talking like we're on Facebook here. Okay. Connection request. They add you to their network. Then you're in like Flynn. You can take the next step. And then you send a follow-up and you say, I really like this. And you try and initiate a conversation. You try and ask a question and get them and say, they'll research and they'll get them to look at your profile. And so what does that mean? Well, if Brad Schneider goes in and he takes a look at my profile here, all right, and it has nothing to do with anything that could be of interest to him whatsoever, well, how close do you think you're going to get to this contact? It's not going to happen. That means you have to do your work on your side with your LinkedIn profile to make it so that he thinks, this is an interesting connection to have. We're in the same industry, or we share the same thought leadership or different opinions on all that stuff, and go from there. All right. So maybe he likes the fact that I've got articles talking to startup founders. Maybe that's what he sees. And I'm, active, and he sees my articles. And obviously, everything up here has to be pro, right? So this, I don't think, is going to really move the needle for Brad Schneider, okay? And I'm just using me as an example, so make sure you adjust your description and all that good stuff to make them want to connect with you, and then you can follow up on the next steps. That's simple, straightforward. Now, let's take a look at another example. I'm going to go back into companies, and I'm going to just clear all the filters, and I'm just going to go in and say, hey, I'm looking for the investors founded. I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm going to go straight to funding rounds, right? Financials. Funding, okay, in the past year. And I want seed round, okay? Seed round. And I want to look, okay, this one's got AI, machine learning. All right, so we're all in this, okay? August 8th, 2023, April. Okay, I'm going to use the latest one, August 9th, okay? MindsDB. Here we are. So I click on MindsDB. Now let me go back here. Let me just add another filter here, and I want to make sure that I can get contacts. So they must have contacts. Okay, MindsDB. All right, good find. Comes right up at the top. I'm going to click on MindsDB, and then I'm going to say contacts here, and I'm going to look. Okay, Adam Kerrigan, co-founder and COO. That's actually probably a little easier, but I'm going to find out because CEOs are typically inundated. Remember, co-founder, that's great, has the ear of the CEO and COO. So I keep that in mind and go, that's someone who's interested in operations, etc. But I'm going to scan all of this, and I'm just going to see. So let me click on Adam Kerrigan, MindsDB. All right, go back to my LinkedIn, Adam Kerrigan, Minds, and I'm going to click there. And then lo and behold, guess what? Check it out. They went through Y Combinator, co-founder. You can experience all this. I got one mutual connection, everybody. One mutual connection. This is a positive signal, and I'm going to show you how I might get to this individual. So I got Chris Beeman is the mutual connection, Adam Kerrigan. So I'm going to check out, okay, what's going on with Adam Kerrigan? I think I came across this company a while ago. It's so familiar, but I look at companies all the time. His last post was 3 weeks ago, applied AI, all those things. And then I'm going to show all the posts, 2017. Let's go back here and figure out, all right, he's got some context, but I want to understand. Here's the summary, seed financials. So what's the round? They did 6 funding rounds, $54.4 million. The investors, okay, Y Combinator, legit, right? Legit company, going to have a lot of dense network connections, if you will, probably have a lot of sway. Maybe that's where I heard about MindsDB from Y Combinator. Check it out, profiles, investors, like I said, all that stuff. And then I'm going to go back to context. So this is very good. Let's see what their funding has been all about. Their seed, they raised $46.5 million in seed. Now that tells me a few things. One, real strong company, but 2, I might be out of their league if I'm only raising $200,000, right? But if you're looking to raise tens of millions of dollars in seed, for something like that, that'd be really great. They even raised $7.9 million pre-seed. That's impressive. That's all I got to say. Now we check this out here, and I go back And remember, I was looking for, Adam Kerrigan, employee profiles. Okay. Adam Kerrigan, etc. Why is this company so familiar to me? I'm having like weird deja vu, but I'm trying to focus on this video. All right. So Adam Kerrigan, here we are. Chris Beeman is a mutual contact. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check out Chris Beeman's profile. And if you're like me, you've got tons of people who you know on LinkedIn, and you're like, how do I know you? So how did I connect with Chris Beeman? Okay, Astronomic and 3x founder. He connected with me somehow because definitely didn't reach out to him. But I'm going to look up the history. Chris Beeman is connected. Most likely the reason why we're connected. Look at 21,000, almost 22,000 followers. Great activity. And so I'm going to engage with Chris Beeman first. So same technique that I showed you. I'm going to go through all the posts. I'm going to say, all right, so the last one, love seeing this today, pickleball, co-working space. And maybe I connect. Maybe I have experience with pickleball. All right. So now what I'm going to do is Corvette Club. All right. So Chris Beeman is definitely networked like crazy. I love working. See lots of posts discouraging the grind, but it's a grind. I like this one. Let's use this as an example. So I'm going to message Chris and I'm going to say, oh, okay, here we are. We're in the same founder group. Oh, he's through startups.com, CEO Astronomic. Okay. And I'm going to message him and say, hey, Chris, since we've already have a conversation, I've always wanted to play pickleball. Right? And your post on grinding made sense. Got a quick question for you. Can we chat sometime? I'm going to put that out there. Now, I'm not really going to send this because I don't have any reason to send out talk to Chris right now because I'm really not trying to meet Adam Kerrigan at MindDB. But say he says yes, so you want to connect with Chris and you want to update, do an exchange, find out, and you want to be valuable. You want to spend valuable time with Chris that he walks away going, man, I really appreciate the time I spent with Ed. I've got some things that I can contribute because since we're connected at startups.com and I'm an advisor, I can say, I'd love to ask you some questions, all that good stuff, and find out how your startup is doing and start giving some advisory. I want to be of value to him, at least from a social standpoint, and have a great conversation where, like I said before, he steps back and goes, I really enjoyed that conversation. That was valuable to me. Then I'll ask the question, hey, noticed that you're chummy or you're connected with Adam Kerrigan on LinkedIn for MindsDB. How do you know him? And well, I'm looking for investment on this. This is what I'm doing. What do you think? How possible is it you think you could do like a warm intro for me? Because his investors are the investors I want to do. And I'd love to at least get his opinion how to approach his investors or on the feedback of my startup and see what he thinks. And I know he's a busy guy and all that good stuff. And Chris may say, oh, man, he's a total chum of mine. He drove his Corvette over here in the Corvette Club where I play pickleball with him, once a week. I'll put in a good word for you and it'll be great. Or here's another hack. Say, hey, Chris, do you mind if I send you the initial copy that you can cut and paste with some key points? And then I'll craft my intro pitch that Chris can adjust and we can work that together. And at that point in time, you want to make it the same intro that you would give to investors cold. So Chris is sending this on your behalf, saying, I got a buddy named Ed. He's solving this problem. He's got this solution. He already has $500,000 in revenue and 5,000 users, and he's already raised a seed round. He's got multiple exits already, et cetera, et cetera. You want to learn how to craft that. I'm not going to use this video to explain the intro, but the hack is that I can ask Chris to send something that I write that he adjusts on my behalf to make it easy for him. Now, on top of which, here's another hack. Say, hey, Chris, depending how close you are, you may say, hey, do you mind if I look through your contacts and find out who else that you're connected to? And you could do this at the same time because look, he's got 22,000 followers. So this guy is a node and he's connected. So 8 degrees separation. If I'm good friends with Chris and I'm of value in his network, I'm not spamming him. He may say, all right, fantastic. Let me introduce you to as many people as possible. That's how that works. All right. So it's super simple to research all the investors that you want based on searching the companies that the investors will invest in. Let's go back to Crunchbase. Now, if I'm going to these different contacts here, and I go to companies, and I may look at investors, I can do the same thing, right? Okay, let's just pick Techstars, a Y Combinator. I kind of do Y Combinator to death here because I am a fan. Techstars. So I've got Techstars here, and there's 2 acquisitions. Okay, look at all these investments that they've done. Check this out. This has grown over time. Industries by the amount of investments. And remember, I was in like artificial intelligence, all that software, the different counts. And I can search through all the different types of investments that they've done, right? Are they the lead investor, etc.? Okay, and I've got all this action going on here. And I look at the types of checks and the money raised that they've done. This may give you an idea of how to get into Techstars, because a word-of-mouth referral would be super great. So let's just go, straight to the latest one. Bleach Cyber. This is non-equity assistance, is funded by Techstars. Yeah, confirm. The people, I'm looking at the people. I'm going to say them again, 2 employee profiles, the people that I've got, the contacts, and scrolling down. Craig Goodwin, okay, co-founder, chief executive officer. Steve Daniels, co-founder, head of product. If I can get to someone that's not the CEO because they're super busy, I may go check that out. Board advisors, you can do the same thing, search. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go this, and I'm going to go Bleach Cyber, and here we go. I got 3 mutual connections. Bingo, bingo, winner, winner, chicken dinner. I'm going to do the same game. Chris Beeman is connected everywhere. Evan, all right, and one other mutual connection right here. I think that it's not very hard for you to see that your network is your net worth and your valuation, or your future valuation, or your net worth when it comes to potential investors you can reach. It's a saying that I say all the time. Your network is your net worth and your valuation. You want to be working your network at all times. And ultimately, that's not the hack. It's not a hack. How you use your network can be hacked. Building that network can sometimes be a slow moving process where you want to just build it over a period of time and create value in your network so people want to talk to you, so that when you do need someone to make an introduction, you're going to then start to get more favor, and you can start to use that social capital that you've been building up. So you got to invest that social capital, send in information. You saw just randomly, I'm looking up, you're only so far away from that warm contact that's going to give you that introduction. And you saw the messages that I've already passed on. That's my LinkedIn right there. And anybody can get to where I am if you have a good profile and you play the game properly. Let me give you the summary here. This is how you hack your way using Crunchbase. So first of all, go to Crunchbase and then check out the companies. You can either search by companies or the investors that are investing in the companies. Do your homework on them by filtering them all down, right? And then once you click into the company, start to research the different contacts they have. Go into LinkedIn, find out if you've got some contacts that can give you mutual introductions, give you a warm intro, start to engage with them, and do it in a way that builds value, that they actually want to exchange social capital with you, and you can give them tools or ways to introduce you and do their thing so that you can get to the investors that you want to contact. All right. That's the simplest way. There are a lot more sophisticated ways if you're willing to spend the time and the resources to build up your investor contacts and to do outreach. But for that first-time founder or that early-stage founder, maybe this is one of your first ventures or you haven't done it a lot, dedicate the time. This is a full-time job right there. You saw all the little steps there. There are no shortcuts, but there are hacks that can help you kind of jump the line in terms of not shortcuts with your time or the commitment that you need to make, but the effectiveness in what you're all about. There you have it. That's the cool thing. If you enjoy this video, would love to hear your thoughts on that. Appreciate everybody who is in our network and all our communities that I get to interact with on a regular basis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want me to cover any other types of topics, please leave that comment and let me know. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.